All right. Well, here we are. This is it. Welcome to Season 6, Race 22 of F1 of my F1 2020 My Career Mode. Monster Energy Racing, of course. And this is it. This is the finale. This is the last race I'm ever going to do on this game for now, as F1 2021 is on the verge of coming out. So, should be an interesting one. Of course, it is a four-way fight for the championship. Daniel Ricciardo tied with Max Verstappen for the points lead. I'm 6 points back, and Leclerc is 18 points back. But, as you can see by the qualifying, advantage is clearly in the favor of Daniel Ricciardo. Myself and Max Verstappen are just barely inside the top 10, and Leclerc is in 4th, and he's in the best position, but he needs Ricciardo to pretty much... If Leclerc won the race, Ricciardo would need to finish where? He's 18 points back. Ricciardo could still finish in the top 10 and Leclerc win the race and Leclerc wins the title, but that would require a lot of things to go wrong for Ricciardo. So yeah, looking very favorable for Ricciardo at this rate. He's been great at qualifying all season. And yeah, I could have tried to redo the qualifying again, because again, my Sector 3s on this track are terrible. And they've generally been terrible since Season 5-ish on a lot of tracks. Just, and I've said in the past, just all of a sudden after Season 5, my car was just not fast in certain places on the track, on all tracks. And it became much more difficult. It was weird. It was sort of like, it was difficult, but it also didn't matter, because I'd already won Constructors and Drivers' Championships in the career mode already, so it's not like, it's not like I'm searching for something that I need. I don't really need it. I'm just doing these last 2 seasons just because I felt like doing them. And yeah, just... for what reason, the car handling just changed after the 4th season, just very strangely. Can't really explain it. Don't know if it was a game update or what have you, but that's how it turned out. And happy we're at least starting inside the points. That's positive. Don't know what we'll see in terms of grid penalties potentially. Our luck, you know, we never get one when we need one, so I doubt we'll get one here with Ricciardo.
Tough luck there. It's not quite where we'd want to be on the grid, but chin up, it's not the end of the world.
Weather, not an issue, so let's just go straight to the race.
Welcome to the Yas Marina circuit for the finale of another thrilling Formula One season. It's been a breathtaking year, and we end it at a track that's been the scene of many glories and heartbreaks over its history. It's time to end the season in style. It's time for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. We have 21 corners here at the Yas Marina circuit, 12 to the left and 9 to the right. It's a total lap distance of just over 3.4 miles. Of
course, we learned that they'll be changing this track for 2021.
Into the
Not sure if it will make it into the game.
Average lap speeds of around
just announced, but
123 miles an hour.
Should be interesting.
And so, for one final time this season, Anthony Davidson joins me in the commentary box.
Well, the winter break is looming once again. No doubt many of those teams already have their eyes firmly on next season. But there's still work to be done here. Still championship positions to decide, which can make a big difference to the prize money. So no one's going to be taking their foot off the throttle just yet.
It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Good job yesterday from Valtteri Bottas. The Finn starts from pole position, and P2 goes to Daniel Ricciardo. A strong showing from the Australian. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Sainz, Leclerc, Lando Norris, and Gasly, Hamilton, Fiat, Verstappen, and the owner driver, Albon, Ocon, Lance Stroll, and Matsushita, Aitken, Giotto, Kevin Magnussen, and George Russell, Giovinazzi, De Vries, Latifi, and Tatiana Calderon.
One grid penalty, but not one that would help us in any way, with Giotto the back there. So yeah, we're just gonna go, just get the best result we can, and accept finishing second or third in the championship. And I think if I get to the point where I'm ahead of Verstappen and my pace isn't really, I'm slowing the pack down, I'll see if I can let Verstappen just go, so he can go.
We're still in with a shot at the driver's title.
Fight for it.
It's down to this. Now go out there and come back a champion.
Don't know how likely that is at this rate, Jeff. Unfortunately. Say 2 stop, but I think we can make it the 1 stop.
Okay, our system checks are good. We need to stay in formation and start bringing the car up to temperature, please. Get some load into the tyres and work the brakes. We want them nice and warm by the end of the lap. Okay, here's who we're really fighting today, Kvyat and Albon. Radar is clear, weather is looking good for now. Dries seem like the best tyre for now.
Everyone's starting on softs, not surprisingly. Well, we got a couple medium runners. Jack Aitken, George Russell, Nick De Vries on medium tires. Now I may do a couple of restarts if any of either our starts go bad or if Ricardo has a particularly strong start off the line. We'll see how it goes. Cross that bridge when we get there. Shame that Verstappen, because he was quickest in second practice. I'm surprised to see him down this far, to be honest.
Expected. No rain expected for the time being. The rest of the grid is forming up. Be patient and watch for the lights.
Alright, here we go. Get ready for the final race for me on F1 2020. Close out the game best way we can, I guess. We'll see. 5 red lights. See how good of a start we can get. Lights are out. We're underway. Okay, Kvyat here going 3 wide. Oh, and freaking Ricciardo already out to the lead. Can't make that stuff up, can you? So we're really hoping that he gets stuck behind Bottas, but that did not happen. Dear Lord. Whoa, 3 wide? What happened to Carlos? Did Carlos Sainz really take the lead? Let's go from here and see what happens. I'm curious to see what happens with... Who's on the inside here? Ricardo? And he jumps out into the lead as I get wing damage. Did I get wing damage there? One thing that did happen is I got slowed up a ton by Gasly. Let's see. Just trying to get a view of my front wing. Let's see if that damage to this. Okay, a little bit of damage there. Doesn't appear to be too significant. Let's see how this first lap goes, and then we'll sort of judge it from there.
That's a good start. Keep it up.
Feel like we might have to go again, but let's see. Hoping Sainz can hold up Ricardo just long enough. Jeez, Bottas, not giving me any room whatsoever. DRS board. That's not good. Unfortunately, I think I'm gonna restart because I'm not in a good spot. I'm not trying to really win. I'm just trying to get Ricardo in a situation where he's not good, but I'm already, 2 seconds behind. So, just trying to create a more exciting championship finale, or more in doubt championship finale. Oh, really? Kvyat got a really good start that time. Got a really good jump. Gasly did not get going at all. Yeah, fortunately, this isn't a situation where we can pick the best start, sort of just hedging our bet, whichever which one is the best scenario. Ricardo is just getting getting off the line like there's no tomorrow. He's just absolutely launching off the line. Which is funny, because Bottas has the pole, and in theory, he has the preferred line. That third sector just absolutely kills us. Absolutely kills us. Odd how Ricardo was getting such a great launch into turn 1. He just gets such a good launch. And again, it's my last race, so just screwing around at this rate. And if Ricardo could get dropped to 3rd, and I get a good enough start, that would be like the most ideal thing. And it just funnels down really tightly into turn 1 for such a short launch. If Bottas can get a great start and Sainz can get a great start, I think we're cooking, but McLaren's on the inside of Ricardo. I think we might have a winner here. And I can get a decent run into turn 1 without making a ton of contact. If I keep making contact with Norris. And it's an illegal overtake. I think I got the right corner. I make contact with Hamilton. Let's go back to the beginning. Not the beginning, but here. Science, come on! Here we go, here we go. Well, I tried to make a pass, but Ricardo blocked me off so badly. On the inside, let's try the outside. I thought we could get him on the outside. Here we go. Alright, here we go. Should we get him on the outside, or... Slipstream. There we go. Alright, now this is what I was looking for. Just at least in a position to make the title race a little more interesting. Because yes, while Leclerc right now is in second, he cannot win the championship from that position. Myself and Ricardo sitting here in third and fourth. He needs some help. So that's finishing further down the order, and Verstappen is running in seventh. So finally, I got a sort of the start I was looking for. Again, it's the last race, so I'm just messing around with things with the rewind button, but, Ricardo looking to the outside. Quickly become the inside, then the outside again. Ooh, what happened there? That was really weird. Did one of the McLarens get into me? They might have, I don't know. Did I make I don't want to make contact with Ricardo and damage him and put in a position where he has to pit early. I want to be barely in the fight. Does he have no front wing damage? Just to make sure. Okay, he looks... He's fine. Okay. There's Verstappen in seventh again. Verstappen and Ricardo came into this race tied in the standings. So, if Leclerc and myself are not in a position to beat them in the standings, the top 10 in this race, which at the moment we are not, if we finish where we started right now, Leclerc would gain 5 points. No, he'd gain 6, 18 and 12. I would gain 3, but that's not enough. So Ricardo would win by 3. So at that stage, it's simply going to come down to who can finish higher of Ricardo and Verstappen. like it's going to be
DRS is being enabled this lap.
Bottas
We can
and
use
Leclerc
DRS
battling out
within
the
1
win.
second of the car ahead and in the DRS zone.
Let's go. That was not a good launch off the corner. Have to be super careful now that Ricardo has DRS. But again, just a reminder for Leclerc's position, he is currently 18 points out of the lead of the championship right now. So in order for him to win, the championship, so if he won the race, let's just say, for example, Leclerc gets by Bottas and wins the race, he'd have 26, he has the fast lap, he'd have 26 points. At that rate, Ricardo would need to finish I think the problem too is that any tiebreaker I think would go to Ricardo. If I think it's based on what I think it's based on, which is race wins, Ricardo definitely has more than Leclerc. I would think that in a tiebreaker scenario, Ricardo would win. So in that case, he would need Ricardo if Leclerc were to win.
We're leading our teammate
Ricardo would
by
have to finish
3.0 seconds.
Or worse, 76 points. So yeah, so Ricardo and Verstappen in that scenario can still finish at the points, and Leclerc can still win the championship. But Leclerc would need to win, and Ricardo and Verstappen would have to drop a few spots. I wanted to keep an eye on something because, well, first of all, I didn't use the ERS, so that's why Ricardo was catching me so quickly. Okay, so where's some people who started on the mediums, and those were Jack Aiken, George Russell, and Nick DeVries. Now I think the two Haas cars have sort of fallen off this pack here. But Aiken is still sort of there, so I'm curious to see if he will play a role in this race by the end. In terms of potentially maybe if Ricardo and Verstappen decide to do 2 stops, which is certainly possible here, Aiken could leapfrog them in theory, though at the same time, I do recall in the past people who have, or AIs, who have look like they're doing a 2-stop by starting on the medium tire, but then end up doing 2. Or say that again. It would look like they're doing a 1-stop by starting on mediums, but then they end up doing a 2-stop anyway. As for Ricardo, just makes a big lunge. So and freaking Ricardo just ran right into the back of me. Hey Rick, can you calm down please? Really appreciate that. So the strategy we like to employ here in Abu Dhabi is a 1-stop. Going long on the soft tire extent.
Approaching the pit window, you'll be on the mediums.
Switching on to mediums. And ooh, I shoved Ricardo off a little bit there. Really, the battle for the win is just going to come down to Bottas and Leclerc. And could you imagine if Bottas was still championship eligible? That would just add another wrinkle to the whole equation. But as it stands, it's just a 4-car fight. and I'm able to do just enough to keep these guys behind me. Now, pit stop window says lap 7. I think obviously we're going to stretch that to lap 11 or lap 12, somewhere in that range. You don't need to go fully to halfway because, you know, of course the medium tire is a harder compound, so you can go a little further. On that compound. It's going to be very interesting to see just when everyone decides to stop. So right now, as it stands, Ricciardo would still be winning the championship. The way things are running right now, with me in front of him and inadvertently holding up the pack, as Ricciardo really locks it up there. This adds a little bit more intrigue to the whole thing, as opposed to Ricciardo just running away with it in the lead. Right now, anyone who hits is going to come out in between the Haas cars and the Williams cars. So, and don't forget the 2 Haas cars are running medium tires, so it's another wrinkle in everything. Also, we might get some safety car, we might not get a safety car at all, you never really know.
We're going to box this lap, push hard on the in-lap. Gap to teammate behind is 3.2 seconds.
Okay, so the pit window has officially opened. Ricciardo takes another look, not get the move done. And again, I'd like to reiterate that currently as it stands, I cannot win the championship. Even though I'm finishing ahead of Ricciardo and Verstappen. The best I would do, I think, would be leapfrog Verstappen for second if things finish the way they finish right now. I just wanted to get into a scenario where the final fight would be a little bit closer, and Ricciardo starting where he did initially didn't look like that was going to happen, but at least this way, at least for the final race of my career mode, it makes things a little more up in the air in terms of what could happen.
Gap to car in front is 15.3 seconds.
So we'll see, do Bottas or Leclerc decide to pit this lap? Ricciardo just runs right into the back of me. Gosh, Ricciardo's just coming in there with a full head of steam, not even thinking of slowing down for the corner. Is he even trying to make the corner? And the answer to the Bottas and Leclerc question is no, they do not hit this time. They stay on track. As, ooh, Ricciardo went for a move, and I swapped it right back around on him.
Be aware we expect the grip levels to start falling away
Too
soon.
deep into the corner. And we back into third place. Like way wide through that first complex. Opening the door for Ricardo right at that corner. Did he get any wing damage there? Nope, no harm, no foul.
The gap to the car ahead is 17.7 seconds.
Bottas and Leclerc both stay on track. No pit stops as of yet.
We've got a lot of spare
First
energy.
taker,
Use your
Carlos
overtake
Sainz
button.
in the Ferrari. The McLaren. He's in the McLaren. A couple other guys behind us
Lewis
pit
is in the
two.
pits.
Hamilton pits, as does one of the Renaults. And they're the only ones to pit at this time. Let's see what they're going for here. So, Sainz is going for mediums. This is Gasly. Sainz for mediums. Also got Giotto and Giovinazzi coming in, but Sainz mediums, Gasly going with mediums. He's going to get held up by the AlphaTauri. And Hamilton is going for another set of softs. So Hamilton for sure is doing a two-stop, as is Giotto, I think, because his crew is also fitting on the soft tire. So, and I think Gasly's going to get held up a little bit there too by Giotto coming in. Giotto's coming in, and Giovinazzi's coming in as well. So we have right there our first confirmed two-stopper, Lewis Hamilton. Definitely going for two stops. He switched on to another set of soft tires. I don't think we will have to worry too much about him in this race, because we know he has to stop again, for sure. Gasly, Sainz, not too sure. We're going to have to see about that one. I also should mention too, where Leclerc is running, if he finishes second, the only way he would win the championship at that rate is if Ricciardo and Verstappen and myself, well, Ricciardo and Verstappen for sure, do not score any points at all. So for him, for Leclerc's sake, He needs to pass Valtteri Bottas, and he needs to win this race. As Lando Norris dives into the pits. And increasingly, I think myself and Ricciardo and Max Verstappen are all going for a one-stop race. So we're staying out this long. I have to think we're all on the same strategy. As more people exit the pits, we'll take a look at the race director. So Norris is also out on another set of softs, as is Kvyat, as is Giotto, and Magnussen, and Giovinazzi, and Calderon. So I think those guys you could write off almost immediately, because they are not going to be contenders in this race. Almost certainly. They have to make another pit stop. If the Haas is going to hold on, they might be in a decent position. I think they actually might be just outside the points. And this will still be their best results of the year, 11th and 12th, for the stay where they were. The strategies played out the way I think they might play out. Ricciardo is here for another move. And Verstappen now, that opens the door for Verstappen to make a move on Ricciardo. And Verstappen will pass Ricciardo, and that could be for the championship. Wow, Ricciardo went for the same sort of dive bomb move into the penultimate corner they did before. I switched him back again. And then Max Verstappen just came out of nowhere.
Our gap to the car in front is 24.0
and
seconds.
Jumped him to take that spot. Now I might consider coming in this lap. The problem is I don't know where I'm going to come out. I feel like whoever pits first will inevitably get stuck in traffic. Currently, pit projection has us coming out in 15th, which currently is where Luca Giotto is. So if we look where Luca Giotto is on track, that's where we would come out. So that's right in the middle of a swarm of cars. That's the worry, is that whoever is going to come out first, or whoever pits first, will absolutely get stuck in traffic. And Leclerc has hit the pits. Leclerc is in for his stop.
Leclerc is in the pits.
Now let's see, do I pit here to cover off Ricciardo? Is he going to pit? No, he does not. So Ricciardo does not pit. Okay. So Verstappen is definitely pitting on the next lap. Oop. That's not good. Leclerc's going to mediums. So, it's decision time now. Do I want to get stuck in traffic? That's the question. Because that's inevitably what's going to happen. It's going to get stuck in traffic. But if Leclerc pits now, Verstappen's definitely going to pit the next lap, and he's going to get stuck in traffic. For sure. Okay, I'll go another lap. Pit window is to lap 12, so I guess I can go to lap 12.
We're leading our teammate by 16.5 seconds.
So I was going to try the outside, but we're not going to let him through. So he got through there. How was he able to... My car just stopped in the middle of that corner.
Okay, gap ahead is 6.3 seconds.
.15th is still... Actually, 15th is now Danica Fiat. So we have to be coming out right behind Fiat. Bottas, I presume, is going to pit this lap, as he does exactly that. I definitely have a feeling that Ricciardo is going to go one more lap here.
Right, come in at the end of this lap. Affirmative, medium tyres at the next stop.
Okay, so let's see. Let's see how this goes. So what we're gonna pit now.
Okay, we can take you this lap.
See where that puts us. And see what happens with Ricciardo.
Go, go. You'll be racing on the exit. Go, go, go. Okay, you only have to stop once now. One stop left.
Alright, so we should come out some
We're not going to be
clear.
able to run in this engine mode much longer. We're about a lap over target. Drop down to mix 2 soon.
And meanwhile, Leclerc did jump. He did in fact jump Valtteri Bottas for the race lead. So Leclerc is now in an incredible position. He is in an incredible position. I don't know why that was. It's really hard for me to say. I don't know why. Anyway, we'll get some DRS here. Help us along a little bit. And Aitken just parks the bus. Absolutely no regard for who's behind him, just stopped in the middle of the apex.
Use your overtake button more, it's time to utilize some of this energy.
So we do come out ahead of Ricardo. Which is good news for us. And Verstappen is actually well ahead of Daniel Ricciardo. On Magnussen going into the first big chicane. Ooh,
Okay,
a little contact
work.
with
Great
him,
pass.
but gets it straight going. Could do that without a little less contact. At least that didn't provide any big contact. Okay, so here's the scenario as it lays out. So Leclerc and Bottas, they're pretty well ahead. They're pretty much set to finish where they're going to finish. Carlos Sainz is in third, so he effectively jumps us if he doesn't have to stop again. But Lando Norris, Lewis Hamilton, Giotto, Kvyat, Giovinazzi, and myself, or no, not myself, just Norris, Hamilton, Giotto, Kvyat, and Giovinazzi all need to stop again, for sure. So it's going to depend on where they are in relation to us. Norris is right in front of my teammate.
Only one stop to go. One stop left on
we are
your
not pitting
strategy.
again.
Pit window will open in 3 laps time. Pit window opens in 3 laps. We're trailing our teammate by 9.9 seconds. They're on old softs. They're in 6th. The time last lap was a 1:37.4.
I was checking that just to see how far ahead Hamilton was. So if he is 9 seconds ahead, then Norris is probably 11 seconds ahead, thereabouts.
We're approaching the pit window. You'll be on the mediums.
So I'm just trying to suss out where they're going to come out when they pit.
The car behind is dropping back by about 0.3 a lap.
Because we know Sainz probably... Now, Sainz could stop again.
Gap to car in
Because he
front
came
is
in...
2.2 seconds.
Let's not forget, Sainz came in pretty early. He was one of the first cars to pit, so I could definitely see Sainz pick again. Basically, the group of cars that pitted with me in the lap after me, so myself, Verstappen, Ricciardo, the likes of those drivers, they are, for sure, they are not going to stop again, given how late in the race they pitted. But I think everyone in front of us, aside from Leclerc and Bottas, are going to have to pit again. And again, I know Sainz, he did go onto a set of medium tires, but with a caveat with that is the fact that he stopped so early in the race, relatively speaking, that I'm guessing he's going to have to make another stop, unless he just runs really long on those mediums, which is possible. It's definitely possible. I don't know how probable it is, but for sure, I guess you could say it's possible. They can do that.
You're lapping around a second faster than the car ahead. Keep this up.
Past Giovinazzi here. Should be able to pretty easily. He's on old softs, on pressure mediums. Surprised Verstappen hasn't been able to get by Aiken yet. Surprised Ricciardo stuck behind, still stuck in traffic. Yep, so again, pretty much everyone in front of us, aside from Sainz, and, well, I guess Sainz and Gasly are on mediums. Then you have Norris, Hamilton, Gioto, Kvyat, who are all on softs, who absolutely need to stop again. Not sure about Sainz and Gasly. It's going to depend on whether they can stretch their tires. Because if those two could stretch, then that puts Leclerc in a much more favorable position to capture the championship.
Open. Let's box this lap.
But if they stop as well, then it's basically going to come down to myself, Verstappen, and Ricciardo.
The gap to the car ahead is 9.6 seconds.
Man, I really have to think that if Sainz and Gasly were going to go to the end, I would have figured they would have put on hard tires. Just the fact that they put on, instead of mediums that early, I just have a feeling they're going to stop again. So here we go. We got one car coming into the pits. I think that's Carlos Sainz. No, it's Lando Norris. Okay, so Lando Norris, one of the cars who stopped on softs and switched to softs. Verstappen still stuck behind Jack Aiken. Well, looks like he's making the pass now. Alright, so Sainz and Gasly, they pitted for mediums. They could not make it
in
to
for a
the end
stop.
on that set of tires. So they are into the pits now. And they will likely come out behind myself and Max Verstappen. As well as Daniel Ricciardo.
The car behind us is lapping faster than us by around 1 second per lap.
The only question marks I have right now are with, so we got behind us.
Mix 2, fuel to mix 2.
So behind us, behind me and Verstappen, we have Jack Aitken, who pitted on lap 11, and considering he went onto the soft tire, I presume he's going to have to pit again, because I don't see why he would go that deep into the race and then pit for softs when he probably should have pitted for hards, but I digress. So let's presume he has to pit again. Esteban Ocon pitted on lap 13, so I think he's going to the end. Matsushita pitted on lap 13, 14, so he's going to the end. So, as I see it, Leclerc is in first, obviously, Bottas obviously in second. We are in third, Verstappen is in fourth, then Ocon will be fifth, Matsushita 6th, Ricciardo 7th. That's how I see it right now, assuming that Jack Aitken has to pit again.
Let's use overtake and burn some of this energy.
So that's where I see things at the moment. And again, so for Charles Leclerc, he needs to win the race, score the most points possible, and then hope his closest rivals finish lower down the order. Uh-oh. You got a yellow flag. Uh-oh. Oh, no! Max Verstappen! Max Verstappen's out of the race! Oh, my gosh!
The track is clear. Green flag.
I was just talking about Max Verstappen and how he was, I was going to say that he was on the verge of winning this championship, potentially, if things finished the way they were going to finish. But now, especially with Verstappen holding up Ricciardo a little bit there, I don't know anymore. Because again, Ocon and Matsushita, I think, are definitely going to the end of the race on their set of tires. And Ricciardo is going to be now a net P6. So Leclerc could be in a great position, and we could be in a great position. I'd have to do the math. I really don't know for certain where we would be.
Gap to teammate behind is 9.7 seconds.
Okay, so if Leclerc finishes where he's at right now, he wins the race. It's max points, 26. And Daniel Ricciardo finishes in 6th place, which I think he'll gain spots. We'll see here. See what happens with Ricciardo. A 6th place finish for Ricciardo would put... Ooh. Something happened there with my gameplay. Just want to check something really quickly to make sure. That I'm still online here. Just had a blip where I kind of sort of petered out and came back. Testing 1, 2, 3. Just had a blip where I kind of sort of petered out. Okay, alright, so it looks like I'm working. Everything's working okay. That was really weird. I'm not sure what happened. It sort of, the stream died, it looks like. Or the broadcast, I should say. The broadcast died. And then it came back. I'm not really sure. But it looks like from my end, from what I can see, that it is playing. Obviously, a couple seconds behind. But it's appear to be playing. That's good. So anyway, as I was saying before I was rudely interrupted, Leclerc wins the race. He has 26 points. Ricciardo, if he stays where he's at and he does finish in 6th place, which I think will not be his ultimate finishing spot, considering he's pretty close to Matsushita and Okada, I would think he would have a pretty easy time overtaking them. That would be 8 points, which would put him in a tie. With Leclerc. And again, if my calculations on that are correct, Ricciardo would win that tiebreaker, but we need to beat Ricciardo by 6 points. So we're 6 points behind coming into this race. So for our championship fight, if things stay the way they are, I would score 15 points. Actually, Leclerc lost the fastest lap. I have no idea who has it now. I have no idea who has the fastest lap right now. Is it Ricciardo? Maybe it's somebody who just pitted. Yeah, Leclerc lost his fastest lap. I didn't see to who. As I was saying, if we finish 3rd, we get 15 points. And if Ricciardo finishes 6th, he gets 8 points. So we would beat him for the championship. So basically, we need Ricciardo, in order for us to win the championship, we need Daniel Ricciardo to stay parked in 6th place and not pass anyone. And if he does, and he ends up catching us, we might need to pull, if Ricciardo ends up catching us, we might need to pull a Lewis Hamilton from 2016 here at Abu Dhabi, and sort of back him up into the pack, like Hamilton tried to do with Rosberg, and see if that creates any potential overtakes.
Our gap to
on
the car in front is 38.7 seconds.
So I think I can safely say that I'm fairly confident in my ability to maintain 3rd place and to finish on the podium. And backing up Ricciardo to the pack would be a lot easier if we didn't have those pesky racing points sitting there in the top 10. Actually, it's the 1. It's Lance Stroll, I should say. Looks like Jack Aitken pitted again. But Lance Stroll, he did... he's on the same strategy, so... Yeah, basically all come down to this. And for Leclerc...
Use overtake now, please.
Versus myself... I think if Leclerc, so let's say, I was thinking it through in my mind, if Leclerc wins, Again, I have no idea who has fastest lap at this rate. Might it be Jack Aiken? Because he did pit again? Yeah, I have no idea who has the fastest lap. But yeah, if things stay where they are, Ricciardo and Leclerc would be tied. That would be the case. Then I would win the championship by 15.
We pretty much burned off our excess fuel. We'll be back on target soon.
I think I would win the
to turn the engine
championship by
down.
2 points. And then, and just to put it in perspective, if Matsushita passes me, or if at any point I lose 3rd place, and the order stands where it is right now, I will lose the championship by 1 point. Also getting to a stage where I need to conserve my fuel.
There's 5 laps of fuel remaining. We're leading our teammate by 7.3 seconds. Okay, gap ahead is 40.2 seconds.
Ran a little wide. See if I can check and see who has the fastest lap of the race right now.
Currently, the fastest lap is a 1 minute 36.4.
But you won't tell me who has it.
As things stand, we'll be leading the championship. The car in front is 42.2 seconds. There's 3 laps of fuel remaining.
Matsushita is looking for a move.
We've got a lot of spare energy. Use your overtake button.
Let's not forget that the championship race last season came down to... Actually, not last season. It was 2 years ago. So Ricardo was my teammate. Season 4 championship came down to the last lap when Ricardo passed Hamilton on the last lap of the race to capture the championship, the win of the race and the championship. Can history repeat itself? Can Ricardo gain one more position?
Gap to
Dash
teammate behind
my
is
championship hopes
5.3 seconds.
on the last lap once again. And Matsushita's really coming on strong this last lap and a half here. Really coming on strong. And meanwhile, Valtteri Bottas is pressuring Charles Leclerc for the lead of the Grand Prix. It's just under a second behind him, from what I can see. And meanwhile, Ricardo, he's got to look in his back mirror now because Lance Stroll is catching him, and I believe at this point will probably be in his DRS range for the last lap of the race. So this just extends the DRS train even more to include that entire pack of cars behind us. As we roll through the last lap and a half of this race. So you know the scenario. Leclerc has already started the last lap. He's over half a lap ahead of us. So I think
there's only 1 lap
the
of
last
fuel
lap,
remaining.
I'm going to leave it to silence. I'll allow you guys to observe
This is your final lap of the
what's
race.
going on here. Actually, let's see if we can... I can get this shit behind me. Right through that section. But sure, we'll go from here. We'll do one more mid-session save. And then we will just go through the last lap.
Fantastic drive. It means your driver's world champion. What a result. Enjoy it.
And with that, another year of Formula One draws to a close. And the new World Drivers' Champion is declared. Another entry added to that prestigious list of the sport's most incredible drivers. Victory today then, but bittersweet emotions, I'm sure, as the championship slips through their fingers. Even so, what a fantastic final race of the season this was. Ant, talk to me. What do you think it was that sealed the win for them?
I'd say it was down once again to good, consistent driving, nailing the corners, working to the track conditions and perfecting the team's strategies. They got all of these things right today and the results speak for themselves.
And after a thrilling race, we see a new name heading up the championship standings. Now, let's discuss, Ant. Who would you say is a contender for Driver of the Day?
Nobuharu Matsushita gets my vote today.
The Constructors' Championship may be a foregone conclusion at the moment, but regardless, let's look at the standings. So then, Ferrari have now moved out of sight and out of reach. It's another triumph for the Italian team as they claim the World Constructors' Championship. Meanwhile, Renault move up the table with another strong performance this weekend. Well, Ant, an end to another fantastic weekend of racing. Thanks to everyone who joined us, and we'll see you for the next one.
there you have it. That was a very eventful Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Leclerc wins. I get third. Ricardo gets sixth. Verstappen DNFs out of the race. Constructor standings-wise, Ferrari still has something positive to take away. Still won the Constructors' Championship by 22 points over Mercedes, 66 points over ourselves. But the big story is right there. Actually, it was a tie. If I look back, so I was questioning who had the fastest lap. Well, it was Daniel Ricciardo who had the fastest lap. So the championship ends in a tiebreaker, but we win the championship, I'm guessing, by virtue of the fact that we won more races. I don't recall off the top of my head. I think we won 5 and Ricciardo won 4. I could be totally wrong. I could be forgetting a race that he won that he did not win. Actually, I'm curious now. F1 standings tie breakers. Okay, the first tiebreaker is the most wins, so I guess we had the most wins, so therefore we win the championship by virtue of that. And as you can see here, incredibly close. Verstappen, if he had stayed where he was, if he had not had the engine failure, probably would have won the championship because he would have finished 4th. So he knocked Ricciardo down from 6th to 7th. Ricciardo would have gotten, let's say he had kept the fastest lap. He would knock down to 7th. He would have gotten 7 points instead of 9 points. So he'd be -2. And Verstappen, had he finished 4th, he would have gotten 12 points. So he would have won the championship by 3 points. So it was that close. Verstappen dropping out of the race completely gave the championship. Like if things were running where they were, Verstappen would have won by like 2 or 3 points. But because he dropped out, that gave the championship to me. Fortunately, Ricciardo was not able to gain any spots from where he was, so that was it. Unlike 2 seasons prior, Ricciardo was not able to make a miracle happen in the last lap. He could not get a pass. So the championship went to me instead of Ricciardo. So there you go. That is how close it was in the end. So there you go. That was the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix.
First of all, congratulations. You must be thrilled. You're first in the championship. You must be confident about winning it this season.
Well, he already won the championship.
You gained a lot of positions during the race, didn't you? You've done it! You've taken this season's championship. Looking back, what were your highlights? appreciate your time.
Morning, boss. This week's income from the sponsors has cleared, and we're making good profit against our running costs.
Okay. So, we'll renegotiate with Hamilton. I mean, we're not doing the next season, so doesn't really matter ultimately, but we'll renew Hamilton. Activities. We'll take a look at the standings, the final standings, of course. So again, just to repeat, so we ended up tying with Daniel Ricciardo in the final Drivers' Championship standings. While Ferrari, despite Verstappen's engine failure, held on to capture the Constructors' Championship, is largely due to Leclerc's victory. Okay, so just to double check and confirm, so in the end, Daniel Ricciardo got 1, 2, 3, 4 wins. He won Spain, Monaco, France, and Russia. Me, on the other hand, won Bahrain, Azerbaijan, Canada, Austria, and Italy. So there you go. That was the difference. The tie-breaking difference in the championship came down to wins. I won more races by 1, and that was it. And look back on it, it's so interesting too, because going back to very early in the season, Ricciardo was on the verge of winning that first race in Australia until Lewis Hamilton passed him for the win late. And you never know, that might have ultimately decided the championship right there. And then Ricciardo obviously got off to a bad start after that. 11th of Bahrain, no points. DNF in Vietnam while leading, no points. And then he really turned it on towards the middle part of the season. That's what allowed him to sort of become the driver to beat. And then Russia got incredibly lucky with the 2 cars ahead of him, both having engine failures, and handing him the win. That could have, if he had finished 3rd or 2nd, that could have put him in a totally different spot going into the final race. He wouldn't have been in a position to tie it all, but so it goes. Leclerc, impressively for Leclerc, actually, I have to give credit to Leclerc. I have to give him credit. He finished every single race out of the top runners. Well, so did I, but I guess you could say, so Leclerc had the best results of anyone because, in the sense that he only had 1 finish outside of the points, and that was 11th in Baku, whereas I had 2. I had Spain and Hungary where I was out of the points. So I have to get a lot of credit to Leclerc. He had a great season, just points finishes all the way except for that 1 race in Azerbaijan, which, had he scored 10th or 9th, he could have been right in there. So you can see throughout the season, all these different things sort of set up this final run for the championship, and that changed everything so much. Like Hamilton winning that race in the opening race, or Ricciardo having a multitude of issues throughout the early part of the season, or Leclerc not getting that 1 or 2 points in Baku really affected the championship. And just going back through the seasons, of course, season 1, you had Max Verstappen winning the championship by 4 points over Lewis Hamilton. In season 2, we thoroughly dominated the season, winning the championship by almost, not even, 98 points. Winning the championship by 98 points over Lewis Hamilton, where we won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 races. 9 races. We won 9 races en route to the championship. Season 3, again, another, not a blowout, but relatively close championship. That was decided by Daniel Ricciardo's 2 DNFs right at the very end of the season. That decided the championship. And then season 4, Ricciardo again. That last lap pass on Lewis Hamilton. They were fighting for the win. I was fighting for 3rd with Valtteri Bottas. Ricciardo, with the pass, got the win, won the championship. Then last year, or not last year, but season 5, we won the championship by a little over 50 points over Valtteri Bottas. It was a very mixed up year with the second Mercedes car. Lewis Hamilton was just really off the pace. Didn't win a single race. And it was really, I guess it must have been over by Mexico or Brazil. And then comes down to a tie. So for the final season of career mode. So pretty incredible. Pretty incredible run, I have to say. So there you go, and then you see our results throughout the season. Again, very mixed in some parts. Only one second place finish, actually, which is in Russia. All of our other podiums were either first or third. So there you go. And I think I'll leave it here, because there's no real reason to do the post-race or post-season interview. No real reason to advance at this point, so I want to thank everyone for viewing this, and keep an eye out for F1 2021, and when that comes around, it's gonna be pretty fun, I think. But thank you for enjoying everything that I've done on F1 2020.